Hello, welcome to Practice Insider's Edge. My name is Dr. Derek Barron.
Hi, and I'm Terry Barron. And today we are here to present 4 tips to help you create local content for your social media.
And this was actually brought up inside of our group where somebody had some questions about, we asked the question, what do you wish was simpler in your practice? And that person said marketing. So we thought, why don't we put together a slide deck to help that individual as well as everybody else in our private group kind of come up with some content ideas. So let me share the slide deck with you. And if I come down here, so just as an introduction, again, my name is Dr. Derek Barron, my wife, Terry. We've been in practice for some time, and this talks a little bit about who we are as far as Practice Insider's Edge. And our goal is to really help private practice healthcare business owners grow and scale their practice. And we really want to make this as easy of a process as possible. And hopefully this PowerPoint will be able to help you with that.
All right, so time to focus on creating your local content, right? And that simply means that you need to be putting more into your content than just typical keywords, things that are related to what you do and the type of practice that you have. So you'll need to show some of your browsing prospective patients that come to your site that you're actually a part of your local community. So that's how we are bringing together or infusing the local content as part of your social media posting.
Yeah. And great point on that, because it is important that people know that you are part of the community as a whole. So if I do this and advance to the next one. So here's some points to get you started in this process. And I'll hit this first one. It's about blog posts about local events. So every community from small rural towns to big cities, city of Chicago, New York, as a healthcare business owner, you should be aware of the events and find a way to write about them that ties back to your practice. So how can you take a big event that's going on in your community and tie it back into your practice?
So it's easy to do this, right, for those local events if you're a sponsor at one of these local events, whether it's a booth at a local street fair or maybe you've got a table or a booth at a local health fair. But there's also other local events that are going on that are important to your prospective patients, your current patients. They might be charity events, might be holiday celebrations, and all of these things, these local events, offer you the opportunity to talk about your practice and why you love your community and connect those together. So it is about your prospective patients and your patients. It's not all about you selling your practice.
Very good. And another way to do is to develop content that is relative to your local prospective patients. So one way is to develop case studies that demonstrate your knowledge of the area, of any special circumstances that might be unique to where you are, as well as what niche you treat.
So as you're developing these case studies, you want to make sure that you show that you do serve a variety of patients, especially if you have multiple practices and they're in actually more than one town. So whether it's multiple locations, multiple types of patients, you want to make sure that you're setting up your case studies to showcase that you do care about all the places in your service area and as well as different types of patients in those communities.
And if you've ever, if it is at a local gym, let's just say, or if it's at your local YMCA, share a story personally about you, how you've used those services or that facility. And then it ties back to you and your practice and how you're actually out in the community, providing a stronger, community outreach component to it. So you want to develop content that's relevant to local prospective patients. For example, an annual 5K charity run is coming soon to your area. So you might talk about the risk of hamstring injuries or offer tips on how to stretch the hamstring and calves prior to running.
So our tip number 3 is to find out what your audience is interested in and then write about it. So of course, when you're doing this to develop the content for your social media, you don't want to stray too far away from your practice's niche, right? Like in the last example, if one of your niches is runners, then that's a great opportunity. But there's also nothing wrong with getting excited about the things that your patients care about. For example, you might write about an upcoming holiday. Maybe your community has a holiday parade. I know that the community we live in does a very special community holiday parade during the month of December. So people get really excited about that. So making sure you're connecting to what's going on in your community in terms of just typical events that might be going on, not necessarily that you have to correlate them to your practice. You might just provide a timely recipe, or you may talk about how the community is prepping for the next sports season, right? A lot of communities are very connected to their local high schools or their local colleges, and they get really excited about whatever's coming up for the next sports season. So you definitely can talk about that when you're putting together content for your social media.
The fourth point is a good way to get ideas for your local content is to stay plugged into your community online. We'll give you a couple of ideas right now. You might be following your local Chamber of Commerce on Facebook. You can subscribe to your local paper and stop in the library to see what new flyers have been added to the bulletin board. I know here in Naperville, where we live, the Chamber of Commerce is an extremely active community. They do have a great Facebook page, and we have a local business. Of course, it used to be like a meetup, but they would meet at the local public library and they would help support other businesses. So you can go and communicate with your library about what you can do, and maybe they'll even allow you to offer some type of a public speaking engagement or talking about what it is that would help you and your practice, as well as especially the community members.
So hopefully, kind of wrapping this tutorial video up on the tips to help you create social media content for your local community. This was helpful. As always, we want you to know that you can reach out. You can contact us. This is our contact information, our website, and the best email to get a hold of us, or our phone number. And as always, we want to remind you that at Practice Insider's Edge, we are here to help our private practice healthcare business owners to find success on so many levels.